guys, it's Rachel from Cypress Textiles, and today we're going to be making the Belarus Square from the 2020 VVCAL. For this demo, I'm going to be using Shapekiss Color Crafter yarn and a size 4 1/4 millimeter hook. And let's get started. We're going to start with a slip knot, like always, and a chain 3. And we're just making the center ring here, so slip stitch into the 3rd chain from the hook. And you can also chain 4 and then slip stitch, or you can make a magic ring, whatever you prefer. And then working straight into your ring, you're gonna start with a beginning DC, which is just a single crochet, chain 1. So I don't chain up for a single crochet at all, because I think it makes your work neater if you don't. So just go straight into the ring for your single crochet and then chain 1, and that's going to be the first DC of your round. Now you're going to chain 1, but that's a chain space, actually like a corner. So then we're just going to work into our repeat, which is chain 1 and 3 double crochet. All right, that's the first one. And you're going to end up with 4 groups of 3 double crochet at the end. So your repeat is just chain 1, 3 double crochet, and we're going to work that 3 more times until we're back to the beginning. Okay, so now I'm back to the beginning, and just be sure to omit that final DC. So you see here I have 2 double crochet, and normally it would be a group of 3 double crochet, but we're omitting the final one because we've got the first DC already done when we made our beginning DC. So that's actually going to be the last stitch, but it was the first stitch we made. So you join into that beginning DC with a slip stitch, and now what you end up with is 12 DC and 4 chain 1 spaces, which are kind of hidden, but they're there. We're going to work into them. All right, so for this next round, we're going to work into the chain 1 space first with just a single crochet. Just go straight into it, no chaining up, and then chain 5, and then single crochet into that chain space again. So now you've got a little chain 5 loop there. Then chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and single crochet into the next chain 1 space. So you're skipping all those DC. All right, and chain 5 again, and we're into our repeat now. So single crochet into the same chain space, chain 5, single crochet into the next chain space, and this is how our round is looking so far. So into each chain space, you're going to work single crochet, chain 5, single, and then chain 5, and then jump to the next chain space for your next single crochet, chain 5, single. And that's how you're going to work all the way around till you get back to the beginning. So I've joined into the first single of the round with the slip stitch. And now to start our next round, we're going to make a slip stitch into 3 of these chains. And we're going to go straight into the chain, not into the space. So you're going to work into just this loop at the front, leaving the other 2 loops of the chain behind. All right, so make sure you work into this part of the chain, just like this. Straighten and make your slip stitch. And don't make your slip stitch too tight because it needs to help us travel to the center of this loop here. So if you make it too tight, you're gonna make this loop get all scrunched up. So now into the next chain, make your slip stitch. It helps if you kind of loosen up this loop a little bit. And then just at the very top, make your slip stitch. All right, so now we're gonna work into this chain 5 space here with 9 double crochet. So 1, 2, if I can, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, and 9. All right, so then we're just gonna double check that we have 9. So we have 4, and then 1 in the center, and then 4 more. All right, so now you're just gonna chain 1 and skip this chain 5 loop, and then just work 9 DC into this next chain space right here. So we will pick up this loop on the next round, but for now, just skip over it. Make sure you chain 1 and then just skip over it. So that's gonna be our repeat. Just do 9 double crochet into this next chain 5 space and then chain 1. Skip this one and work into this one with 9 again, all the way around until you have 4 groups of these 9 double crochet and 4 chain spaces. Okay, so now that you've got this round finished, we're just gonna make a slip stitch into the actual slip stitch that you've made. It's the 3rd one. So you made a slip stitch here, here, and here. So the 3rd slip stitch is where you're gonna make your joining slip stitch for this round. Okay, so now we're gonna work straight into this chain 5 space from the previous round. For our next round, it's gonna be from round 2. So it's just this space right here. You're gonna work into that and make sure that you loop it in. And I'll show you again on this next one because this one's really free here. So we're just gonna loop it in with this chain 1 space. All right, so now you're gonna chain 5 and single crochet in the same spot in that same space there. Okay, so far you've got a single, chain 5, and a single in this chain space. Now we're gonna chain 5, and then we're gonna skip 4 double crochet, 1, 2, 3, 4, and go into this 5th one with a single. And then chain 5. All right, now skipping all of these DC here, we're gonna go into this chain 5 space and around the chain 1 space here. So just around all of that and make a single. All right, chain 5, single in the same spot around those loops. So you're treating the chain 5 space and the chain 1 space as one and working around both of them. All right, so now we're into our repeat. Just chain 5, skip 4, single, chain 5, and then go into your next loop over here with single, chain 5, single. Okay, work that way until you get to the beginning. Okay, so now our square is kind of taking shape here, and you'll see you have these 4 chain 5 loops at the top and the sides and bottom, and you have these chain 5 loops here anchored by a single in the center here. So that's kind of how our square is looking so far. And you can see this final chain 1. If you follow the written instructions in the chart, I leave that out, but just honestly, you're just gonna ignore it. So you're not even gonna notice it whenever the square is complete. So you can leave that last chain out, but just for repeat's sake, I did put it there. In the written in the chart, it's not there. So feel free to leave out that final chain of the previous round. But, you know, like I said, it's just going to blend in with the square and you'll never notice it. All right. So for the next round, we're going to make a slip stitch into 3 chains like we did before. So here we go. Since I already showed you one time, I'm just going to go into it. So chain 1, slip stitch in the first chain. And slip stitch in the next one. And then 1 more. All right, so now we're at the top of our chain 5 loop, and now we're gonna work 6 DC into this chain 5 space. All right, and now we're gonna chain 3, and that's gonna be our corner chain space there. Now make 6 DC into the next chain space. All right, so we've got 6 DC there. Now just chain 1. Skip over this chain loop like before and make 6 DC into the next chain space, and we're into a repeat now. 5 and 6, chain 3, and I'm gonna back up and show you how this is looking so far. So you've got 6 DC, chain 3, 6 DC, chain 1, skip this loop, and then start over again, 6 DC there. All right, so work in that manner all the way around until you're back to the beginning. Okay, so we're at the end here, and I have made this final chain 1, just like I said before, for the sake of the repeat, but you can leave it out as well, and it's better if you leave it out, but if you leave it in, it's fine, and in the written in the chart, they are not there. So, all right, so we're back to the beginning now, and we're just gonna make a slip stitch into the third slip stitch of the round. So 1, 2, 3. Make a slip stitch just like we did before on this one. And now our next 2 rounds are just going to be single crochet. So you're just going to make into the next 6 DC, make a single in each one. And then, so we've got 6 DC, so 6 singles so far, sorry. And in this chain 3 space, you're gonna work 7 singles. So just fit them all in there, because that's gonna be your corner. 4, if you have to scoot them a little, that's fine to fit the final 3. So there's 7 singles total in that corner chain space. And now make a single into your next 6 DC. And then in this center DC of the center single of the side, just work around this chain 5 loop and the chain 1 space just like as if they were one, just like a couple of rows ago whenever we did it here. All right, so make your single like that, but just 1 single crochet in that spot right there. Now you're just gonna continue with this repeat where you do single crochet in each DC, 7 in the corner, single crochet in each DC here, and then 1 more in this loop right here. All right, so just do that 3 more times until you're back to the beginning. Okay, so our round is finished here. I just need to make 1 more single crochet into this spot right here. It's the final one of the round. So you can see I did make this chain space here. It's not necessary, but like I said before, just for repeat's sake, I made one. If you're following the written instructions or the chart, this chain right here, I left it out. So you could definitely omit it, but whatever, if you have to make the repeat and you put the chain in, it's fine. So just go into this chain 5 space all around everything and make a single. And you can see, you can't even tell that chain is there. So now you're just gonna make a simple round of single crochet. Just make a single in all the stitches till you get to that corner stitch and make 3 singles in the corner. So I'm just gonna work that round and show you guys what it looks like when it's finished. All right, so the square is complete, and I did go ahead and join with a slip stitch in the first single of the round. So real quick, I'm gonna show you how to weave in your tail in case you haven't seen me do this before. So to weave in this yarn tail, I just made my my slip stitch, and then I drew up a long loop and just cut it at the top. So now I have my tail here. So just go from back to front, insert your hook through the stitch to the left of the joining stitch through both loops, and then pull the yarn tail to the back. And now into the stitch to the right of the joining stitch, go from back to front through back loop only this time. Then grab your yarn tail, pull it to the back, and now you've got your yarn tail goes around the back of your slip stitch join, and you can't hardly tell that part. And then just from here on out into the next stitch, go through back loop only from back to front, grab your yarn tail and pull it to the back. And just do that in each stitch until your yarn tail is totally gone. And I'll show you, you can't see it at all, and once you do your next round or you join your squares, you're really never going to be able to see it because it's going to be encased with these single crochets. And I've never had a tail work itself free by using that method, and you can see here, you can't see it at all really, it's just right there, but you can't even tell. So that's a great way to weave in your yarn tail. And this square is the Belarus Square. I snuck in a country instead of a city this week. So we've got the Belarus Square from the 2020 VVCAL. And if you want to see more of these squares, go to cypresstextiles.net. That's where I'm hosting the crochet along, or just wait each week and you can find the new videos. All right, I'll see you guys for the next one. Bye-bye.